Well, here we are again. Nice to see you again. And if you remember, one of the first entries I had done was looking at a bump out in the kitchen, which was hiding the chimney, and then I mentioned being interested in what was underneath the chimney, what was holding it. And I was thinking that it would be some sort of framing. Well, that's exactly what it was. Check it out. So here we have the chimney coming down from the second floor. You can see the gap up there. We've taken it down all the way to the floor of the second floor. You know, through the roof down to this point, and here this is all that's left to be removed. And here it is sitting on some boards, and then a 2x6 on end, and a couple of bracing 2x4s at angles that are tied back into just, you guessed it, just the wall stud. Just good old 2x4 wall stud back in there. And the interesting thing to note is that these studs that this framework is tied to doesn't even go through into an upper wall. It terminates and ends at the bottom of those floor joists that we're looking at there. So there's a lot of torsion, a lot of torque being applied downward with the chimney. Consequently, this portion of it bears the brunt, and it redirects the vector of force back into these framing 2x4s, back into the wall 2x4, which you'd think would give the wall kind of a twisting type effect. And then also toward the top, you might expect then the top of the wall would want to try to sway this way because of the amount of torque that is being invoked on just this platform. Because keep in mind, the chimney is just freestanding. It's not tied in anywhere. There's no bolts, no tiebacks, which you would use in like concrete foundations. There's tiebacks. And other applications, whatever. But that's a freestanding chimney all the way up to the roof, through the roof. All that weight, all those bricks, many, 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 many pounds sitting on this interesting little framework. And I kept thinking to myself, I caught myself thinking, well, I was thinking to myself, it's funny that they thought that this could hold a chimney. But what's really funny is that it did hold a chimney. It's almost like a miracle. It's interesting. It's some decent engineering. You can see that the wall has suffered some, and that framework, but that framework survived. It didn't just survive; it held up well, holding this massive chimney for how long? I mean, this house was built, I believe, in 1871. 1871. That dates it at over 140 years old. And whether this portion of the house was all completed in this fashion at that time or not, there's been work since then, obviously, retrofitted electrical and things put in here and there. But as far as a chimney goes, that's usually a foundational piece of the original structure. That's something they do right off the bat. So we could very well be looking at really, really old framing, but judging by the 2x4s themselves and the 2x6, and it's not rough sawn, I would say it's not 1871. Could be. I don't know. Usually you see more mismatch type things the older you get, but I don't know how long this type of framing's been around. But anyways, interesting little tidbit. There's the chimney. It's about to be totally gone. And then we'll commence with pulling down the rest of the plaster lath in the rest of the kitchen, everywhere that you see. All right.